Since we're all stuck at home, not creating any new content out there in the world, I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to take something old, something that we've already shot, like a photo, and turning that into something new? So what I'm gonna do today is take an old photo of mine and turn that into something different. More specifically, I'm going to animate it and turn that photo into something a little bit more exciting, something with a little bit more depth to it. It's easy to do, it's fast, and I think you'll enjoy this one. What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing all right out there in these very weird and strange times. What do you think of my quarantine outfit? As you can probably tell, I was definitely Team Sega when I was a kid. Let's move on to this week's tutorial. As I said in the beginning, I want to take something old and turn that into something new, as we're all just sitting at home, not really creating any new content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an old photo of mine, specifically this one right here. It's of my girlfriend when we were on a trip to New York, I think 1 or 2 years ago. So what I'm going to do right here is, for this effect to work, I'm going to have to crop this a little bit. So I'm going to go to the crop tool. I'm just going to cut her legs off a little bit, maybe right here somewhere. That looks all right. Let's zoom in here a little bit. There we go. Photoshop is quite amazing. It can do everything for you. I mean, back in the days, if you wanted to select a person in a photograph like this, you would have to go, use the pen tool. Where's the pen tool? Use the pen tool and, draw around the entire person and then cut that person out. But what you can do now is you can actually go up to select and you can hit subject. And Photoshop is gonna find that person for you and create a mask around it. I know, it's insane. There we go. Obviously, it missed a little bit. I think the cleaner the background is, the easier it's gonna be for Photoshop to find that subject for you. But I mean, this is still an okay job. So what I'm gonna do to fix this is I'm just gonna go up to select again, and I'm gonna jump into select and mask. This is gonna open up a new window. And this is gonna be selected as a default up here, which is great. So now you can just go down here and paint that arm back in. I mean, if you have a similar problem, of course. Oh, nope, that's too much. What's going on? I'm just gonna remove all these things that Photoshop got wrong. Hopefully you don't have as many problems as I do with this photo right here. I'm just gonna bring her fingers back. I'm just gonna remove the road right down here. Then I'm gonna choose this refine edge brush, which is really great for hair, among other things. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna paint this around some of these edges, just to refine that mask a little bit. Now, when you're happy with this, what I would do is go down here to the output settings, and I would create a new layer with a layer mask. Let's hit that and hit OK. And as you can see, it's going to create a new layer on top of the old one with this subject selected. Look at that. How good is that? It's so easy and so fast. As you can see, I still have something strange here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the layer mask, hit the pen tool, make sure black is selected, and I'm just going to paint this out. Some of this stuff is sort of too soft as well, so I'm just going to change that to white and paint, get some of her arm back that we lost in the masking process. Sometimes, all this is gonna work. Sometimes the mask, like the automatic masking, won't be perfect. I mean, it really depends on the photo. And you can be, as detailed and as much of a perfectionist as you want. So it depends on the project. If you're just gonna throw this up on Instagram, maybe don't spend a whole day on it. But I mean, if it's a project for a client, go to layers over here. We're gonna turn this layer off, turn the old one on again. We're just gonna mask around our subject with the lasso tool. There we go. Gotta make sure that the background layer is selected. You can go up to edit and hit content aware fill. Now that's gonna remove our subject from that photo. And it did a pretty good job right there too, as you can see. I'm just gonna hit OK. There we go. Now these two are on separate layers. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna save this as a Photoshop file. And I'm just gonna save this to the desktop for now. There we go. Make sure it's a Photoshop document, that layers, that the checkbox for layers is selected, and save it. Perfect. Now we're just gonna jump into Premiere Pro. So in your project window down here, just double click so you can import your file. Go to wherever you saved your Photoshop document. Select it, hit import, and this little box is gonna jump up. This little new window is gonna pop up. You do not want to merge all layers. You want individual layers selected. Make sure both layers are selected. You want the footage dimensions to be document size, and hit OK. Now you're gonna get a folder with these two layers inside of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the background. I'm gonna right click and hit new sequence from clip. As you can see, this created a little 5-second clip in a new sequence with the background, with the proper dimensions as well. Then drag the other layer on top of that with the subject. There you go. Now we have a 5-second clip with that original photo. So now what we're gonna do is make sure that the background layer is selected. Go up to Effect Controls. Make sure that you're in the beginning of your clip, all the way in the beginning. Hit the stopwatch for the scale. Go all the way to the end. And let's change the size of the background to maybe 105% in scale. That's gonna scale the background a little bit slowly. Looks kind of nice. Looks kind of nice, but obviously it looks really strange with our subject not moving. So we're gonna do the same thing to our subject layer. Go all the way to the beginning. Hit the stopwatch for scale. Go all the way to the end. And let's change this a little bit more. Let's try 120. Let's play that back. That actually looks nice. That looks nice. I think she's kind of disappearing a little bit too much out of frame. So let's go back to the beginning, hit the stopwatch for the position, go all the way to the end. Maybe just move our subject up slightly. I mean, this is obviously for this specific photo. So I don't know how it's gonna be in your photo. You're gonna have to experiment a little bit. But for me, I think I'm gonna have to move her up a little bit so she doesn't disappear as much. Let's have a look. Nice, I like that. I like that a lot. Very nice. I mean, that's it. That's the finished image right there. All of a sudden you turned something old into something new, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more depth. And I mean, you got a pretty nice Instagram post out of this. What you could do, I'm gonna experiment a little bit now. What you could do is also do a change of focus while this is happening. So let's say we're gonna go to effects, we're gonna search for blur. Let's just use a Gaussian blur. I'm gonna put that on both layers. So let's say we want to start with the background in focus, and then we're gonna change the focus to our subject instead. With our subject layer selected, I'm gonna change the blurriness to like 20. So in the timeline, let's move into like 1 second. We'll hit the stopwatch for the blurriness. Maybe at 2 seconds. we'll turn this down to 0. So our subject is in focus. And now we're gonna have to do the other way with the background layer. So in the beginning, the background is gonna be in focus. Make sure repeat edge pixel is selected on that layer as well. Go to 2 seconds where our subject is in focus. That's where we're gonna turn our background out of focus. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 35. Now let's play that back. Nice, even more depth. I like that a lot. All right, that's it. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you got something out of it. Play around with some of your old photos and see what you can create. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and leave a like. It really helps this channel out. And with that, take care of yourself. It is a crazy time out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.